Hi everybody, it's Elizabeth again. I just recently watched Everything Everywhere All at Once, and I'd wanted to see this ever since I saw the um, the trailer for it because it was something that I wanted to see in a film for a long time. But this movie uses multimedia in a very creative way, plus the methods that Evelyn goes through. And I'm not going to say what or why or how, but she uses her mother's intuition. And I thought, this, yes. I mean, it makes sense if you think about it. Um, and I think that empaths would use the same pathway, or those who are higher evolved. It doesn't necessarily have to be an empath, it could be somebody who understands that there are more ways to combat a situation than, you know, the reptilian brain, what I like to call the the id. You have id, ego, and superego. And your id is basically the lizard brain that does whatever it wants and, you know, to heck with consequences. And then you've got the ego and superego that control the lizard brain. As superego is what we developed over time as we evolved as a species. So I just thought, oh, she's working from her superego here. So I just thought that's very intriguing. And I love this movie is really good actually. It's random as all get out actually. It was as random as I've ever seen a movie ever be. And I loved it for it, and I just enjoy the creativity of it and quantum mechanics and quantum physics and the quanta itself. And it hurt my mind, but I love quantum physics, so it's another reason why I like this movie so much, because we don't understand the nature of time space itself because we're three-dimensional, and to think outside of that box. And there's a discussion about that. There's a nihilistic discussion that occurs, and someone like myself who understands entropy, which, yeah, entropy is a thing and it can happen. You've got order and chaos, you have to have both. But I don't want to think that everything just ends in, you know, nothing, because that to me seems like a waste of potential. But that's my opinion. I don't know if it's right. I'm not a scientist by any stretch of the imagination. Um, I am observant. I am an explorer. All of us are in our own ways, shapes, and forms. There are different um, types of explorers in the world. I'm just one of many. Um, but yeah, this movie just Cloud Atlas, which is another really good example of, you know, multiverses and reincarnation. And this also had what I would like to call respawning points, and I'm like, yes, because there's a theory or supposition or postulation that appeals that the life that we live is nothing more than a game where avatars being controlled, puppets. And she explains that. And what's funny about that is it's a parody of Ratatouille, and they call it Rakakuni. And my roommate didn't understand that joke. I said, "Have you seen Ratatouille?" It's a rat that controls Linguini, pulling on his hair like, like a marionette, and he hasn't seen it. So I think the joke went. I thought if you had seen that, it would make that whole scene just 10,000 times funnier, which it did, and it had me just absolutely roaring with laughter because that was one of my favorite parts amongst many. But that scene in and of itself just made me laugh like nobody's business. But this movie is just exquisitely done, but so weird, so random, and to be honest, that's actually, it makes sense. To cut straight to the point, it makes sense that the quanta don't have rules. They just do whatever they like. It's like tardigrades. They defy all our logic as well, because they can live forever. Them, sea algae in Japan, I think it's sea algae or plankton, and Medusa jellyfish, when they go, if they're hurt in some way, they can actually heal themselves. And I can't imagine. I really hope they do more research on all these things, because I think that could be key. But it could be a can of worms. So it's good and bad. Everything is. But the ending, it made me cry. Because I just thought that's a true mother's love, a true mother, who cares about her daughter and sees that there's more to conflict resolution than not avoiding it. She was avoiding it at one point in the very beginning, when she was combating it, which wasn't a solution, and then being embracing. And I thought, that's actually really profound. But as far as the movie was concerned, I absolutely loved it. This is one, like Cloud Atlas, I would probably have to watch like numerous times to understand every inference and every little nuance of meaning, because of just how multi-layered and multi-dimensional, pun intended, that it really is. But if you like movies that are random, movies that are extremely well written, dynamics, character development, and just the bizarre nature. I mean, it is bizarre. I've seen a lot of movies in my time. This goes to Twin Peaks level bizarre. So yeah, it's up there with one of the strangest movies I've ever watched, but I loved it. I loved every single minute of it. So definitely 2 thumbs way up, 5 stars, hands down. Oh, sorry, that was an ice cream sandwich. Got ice cream sandwich on my fingertips. I know that was gross, but I like to be clean for camera. Well, like I said, 2 thumbs way up, 5 stars, hands down. I bet you no complaining, no nags, no nothing. There were predictions that I had that I was actually surprised that came true, because it met with my logic. My logic actually flowed, and I thought, how am I able to predict something this, inconsistent and this just unpredictable and spontaneous. Yeah, the word spontaneity is the one constant. And then entropy is another, which I think is an interesting but very dark subject that, I just, like I said, I just don't think that something so vast and expanding and contracting at the same time would just be, imploded or collapsing upon itself. I can't. I don't want to. I'm too much of an optimist to believe in that, but we don't understand. We're just so... There is a scene that would explain that really, really, really well, and just explained, humanity in a nutshell. And I'm like, yep, that's humanity. That's us. We're small and stupid. And yeah, I thought there was something very wholesome about that scene, and just so insightful and profound. And yeah, and awkward. And she said, and we're awkward too. We're small, and we're insignificant, and we're incompetent, and so very feeble, and just so finite in our minds and what we do and everything. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see any other movies come for that particular director, because that director was just, unbelievable. This is like one of the best movies I've ever seen. But beyond that, I'm finally getting to watch 3,000 Years of Longing, which was something I wanted to watch when I first saw the trailer for it, because it's right up my alley, and I love stories like that, and it'd be a nice take, and more adult take on having a genie. So I thought, yeah, this is definitely something I can sink my teeth into. But I also love Tilda Swinton, and I adore Idris Elba. So I'm intrigued in seeing how they interact together. So he's phenomenal, and so is she. So that'll be all I had to report for tonight. So until next time, live long, prosper, ciao, Diddy. Catch you on the flip side.